Guten Tag, ladies and gentlemen. German name 1990 here once again. How's everyone doing? Today I am turning 34, and in honor, I have some amazing things to show you. Starting with these amazing Wheel of Fortune spinners that you can get on Etsy. Just over a year ago, this lady started selling some Wheel of Fortune spinners, and she thought it would be just a great idea to spice up someone's game night. And who should be her first customer but me? I was her first customer. And I actually helped her expand her business quite a bit. And I ordered just a whole bunch of these. Things over the course of, over a year. And I was really able to expand her business. Eventually, she moved from eBay to Etsy, where she continues to sell these. So when she started off, she started with this layout, which is the layout that the show currently uses. Eventually, she expanded to other layouts. In fact, she used some of my layouts, and I told her she was more than welcome to use these, and I even commissioned her for some custom layouts as well. She eventually moved on to the bonus round, and she even went as far as to ask me to make layouts based on a Wheel of Fortune-like game show called Press Your Luck. And I was more than happy to make these for her. So for my birthday, I figured I would make a review, as well as a history of how far I was able to help her get to where she is today. Now when she started making these, she used a 3D printer to make these. And she also decided to make some wedges. Now, one of the things that she did was she didn't want to make the pegs too tall because she was worried that they were going to break off, and that's understandable. But the other thing was, when you place wedges on these, initially the wedges were twice as thick as they are now. I was able to suggest to her that she thin these up a little bit. So now they're about half as thick as they were, and they're still very rigid. It will take quite a bit to break these. And as you're probably expecting, I've commissioned her for not just a lot of wheels, but a lot of wedges as well. So here's how to work everything. So here's the 1975 round 1 layout. You can actually use this if you're playing. Certainly something really nice to use over the Milton Bradley spinner. As you can see, I actually have a washer that'll keep the wheel spinning nice and smooth. But I also double-sided the washer to the base, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put the knob. This will help keep the wheel in place. Push down on that. There we go. And as you can see, 500 is the top dollar value for this round. Try not to hit bankrupt, because if you do, you'll lose your cash, but not your merchandise, because once you buy a prize, it is yours to keep. And here's what else you can do. Something really fun. I'm going to put a $500 space on top of this $75 space. And recently, I suggested to her making double-sided wedges, and I'll go into why in a moment. I'm going to upgrade that to 400 and 300. I'm going to triple this up. I'm going to bring this up to 400. I'm going to bring the 75 up to 200. I'm going to get rid of the buy vowel space and bring the $100 space next to it up to 500. And then finally, we're going to bring this up to 350. And there you go. This is what the wheel looked like back in 1978. So yeah, I think I certainly do need to rearrange the flippers a little bit more. They're a little bit too low. But if you want to do that, you need a Phillips head screwdriver, a plus side screwdriver. And what you can do is that these arrows are removable, and they're replaceable as well. You can ask her to create these arrows any way you want. You can make it gold, you can make it silver. Just ask for her for any color. So you can make it gold, you can make it silver, you can make it clear. Any color that she has available, please ask. Yeah, absolutely. Now another thing is, since these are 3D printed plastic and a lot of the edges are sharp, if you're going to play this on a table, what you may want to do is grab some plastic feet. You can actually get those at Target or a department store, any department store that sells it. Now, if a peg does break loose, it is fixable. I do recommend products from JB Weld. This, using an ultraviolet light, will dry the glue very, very quickly. However, you got to be careful because once it dries, it's permanent. But on the upside, the pegs will never come off again. It'll take a lot. Now, if you want to give it a little bit more time, you can definitely use this. This takes a little bit longer to dry, but it's just as strong as this is. This will take longer, but if you really need to fix it like right away, you can definitely use this. Like I said, just be careful. I'm going to move that over there. But I also have the round 2 layout from 1975. In case you're wondering, hey, wait a minute, the round 2 wheel looks like this, not like that. Well, looks like that, only with top dollar $750. Nope. November of 2021, some photos surfaced online of the round 2 layout. And definitely were able to figure out that this was the round 2 layout from when the show premiered in 1975. We knew the round 1 layout since 2005 when the E! True Hollywood Story aired an episode about Wheel of Fortune. They showed clips of the round 1 layout. We knew this layout since August of 2010 when a promo surfaced from late December of 74 or early January of 75. That's how we found out the round 3 layout. But November 2021, some photos surfaced at Facebook. And that's how we got the round 2 layout. And this layout was very short-lived. It was actually replaced by the layout also used in round 3 sometime in 1975. Certainly by the summer or so, if I'm correct. Well, what if they kept it? Well, decided to have a little bit more fun. If they still kept this by 1978, here's what I believe would have happened. This $50 space would have been brought up to maybe 100 or so by 1976, and then brought up to 700 by 1978. This $50 space may have become a $150 space by by 1976, and then by 1978, probably worth $650. They got rid of the buy a vowel space before 1975 came to an end, so that's going to be $450. They may have decided free spin. They may have decided by 1978 that free spins were going to be available in round one only. So this, nope, wrong color. This one. So this may have decided to be 550, and they may have wanted all the values to be multiples of 50. So 125 would be doubled. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make this 500. I'm gonna do this. Going to do this. Going to do this. I'm going to do these. I'm going to do that. Or I can do that as well. But there you go. This is what, kind of along the lines of what the round 3, certainly by round 2, looked like in 1979, with a few font changes here and there. So there's that. Oh, and here's some other things I decided to do for round 1. I can bring this up to 750. I can take that away. And I can do that. I can do that, make it look like the round 2. Make it like the round 2 pilot layout from 1974. Alright, so let's get rid of that. Put that, take that out. Take that off. Put this in. This is probably a little bit easier with the knob already inserted. And there we go. And now it resembles the 1980s layout with some more value variety, with 2500 as top value. What I can also do is a little something like this. I can make the minimum. Minimum here is 200, but I can bring it down to 100 if I want to. Stick that out. There we go. What I can also do is make free spins available. There's that. Even have a prize. We're going to put that right here. I'm going to put a trip to Chicago, my hometown. And we're going to put a surprise on the wheel as well. How about that? All right. That's what we're going to do there. For round 2, with 3,500 as top value, we're going to put this Chicago Wedge there on 200 because that's the minimum. The surprise is going to go here on this red $300 space. And we're going to continue making free spins available. So we're going to put that right here. So those are suggestions right there. Perfect. Whoops. Perfect. All right. And then for round 3, again, Chicago goes right there. Free spin goes right there. Surprise goes on this red 250. And we're going to give $5,000 space a little bit more flair. Here's the round one layout based on what the wheel looked like back in the early 90s. Only we're going to have a little bit more valley variety here as well. I can do a bunch of whole stuff here. I can bring this down to 175 if I wanted to. Make it resemble what the wheel was back then. I can bring this down to 150. Just do a whole bunch of stuff here. So here's what I'm going to do. Round one, I'm going to place the $10,000 prize right here. I'm going to bring this 950 all the way down to 100. I'm going to put a prize wedge there. It's a miniature version of an actual prize wedge that I'm a proud owner of to collect. I'm going to put a free spin on top of this 400. I'm going to make the $1,000 space a little bit nicer there. This is an actual prize wedge. This is a miniature version of an actual surprise wedge sold on eBay back in 2019. I'm sorry to say that I didn't get it. I tried. Sorry, couldn't do it. And we're going to put a double play token right there. I'm going to give this thing a nice spin. Let's say that $1,000 is the top dollar value for this round. We are playing for cash. All right, we're going to get rid of that. We're going to do a few things now. Bring the top dollar value up to $2,500. I think I may want to bring the surprise wedge over here, put it on this 400. There we go. Because I want to bring the round two I want to bring this $800 space up to $1,750. Get rid of this $100 space. Make the minimum $200. And we're gonna bring this $950 space up to $1,250. Yeah, from the Bob Going era. Again, I need to fix the arrows up a little bit. But I'm just doing this just to show you for a review. And then for round three, we're going to have 3,500 be the top value. And let's do that. And then here's what we're going to do for round four. I can bring this down to 300. 300 always looks good in purple. It's a shame that it wasn't a color all that much. It was only a color during the Bob Going era. I can put a prize here. I'm going to put a major prize here. The round four prize is how I call it, after what Australia called their version of the bonus round, the major prize round. So this will be the prize introduced in round two, and this is going to be the prize introduced in round four. That's how I tell the difference. I'm going to put a free spin here. I'm going to put the surprise here. I'm going to put put the double plate here. I'm gonna make the bankrupt look like that. I'm gonna put the $10,000 space there. Whoops. And there we go. And then one more set of wheels. Here's the season 39 layout. Here's the layout used since season 39. Here's an improved version. So I'm going to grab that. Move this over here. As you probably notice, I actually used paper flippers. They actually spin quite well here. I think I need to fix those as well. Now here's one of the reasons why the double wedges came up. One of the things that you'll notice is that the wild card is right next to the top dollar value usually. So what I was hoping to do, one of my original solutions, was to have the wedges placed individually. So I came up with an idea. Rather than have the notches be towards the side, I was going to have them be towards the center. So she experimented with this for a while, but the experiment did not, actually it was less than a while, did not last long at all, unfortunately. So I was like, okay, how can we get through? So I may just want to put the wild card somewhere else on the wheel layout. But then an online friend of mine, a fellow wheel artist, has made a lot of wedges. He actually made a double-sized $2,500 space, modeled after the one used on the show's 25th syndicated season from late 07, early 08. And that gave me an idea. I said to this lady at Etsy, I said to her, can you make double-sized wedges, so we can have 2,500 and the wild card next to one another? And she was more than happy, and she said that's a great idea, and it worked out beautifully. So here's what I did here. So here's what I'm going to do for round one. I'm going to have a prize wedge, but not just any prize wedge. We're going to have a Bon Jovi prize package. Today, now as I said, today is my birthday, but today is also Bon Jovi's birthday, yes. I remember seeing Bon Jovi a couple years ago up in Milwaukee, and I just had an absolute blast. It was the first concert I've ever been to, and he certainly made it just an absolutely wonderful night to remember. I'm going to put the gift tag, I know the show is no longer using the gift tag, but just putting it there for old time's sake. Same story with the jackpot. It's what the Lose a Turn looked like for a while back in early 03. So there's round one. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take the jackpot wedge off. I'm going to take this Lose a Turn off. I was just doing that for the sake, just doing this for the sake of the review. And I have to do this. There we go. I just added, there it is. Put that right there. Oh, I can't forget to do this. 3,500, and the wild card go. Do not go there. Go right there. Perfect. All right, so that's for round 2. That's how you can really spice up your game night, as she stated. Round 3, I'm going to keep that on. I know the prize wedge is removed for round 3, but I'm just going to keep it there simply because I can. This is what I like about board game adaptions. They're much more customizable than video game adaptions. Video game adaptions of Wheel, they give you what they give you. And now we're going to use a red surprise wedge. There we go. And now for round 4, here's where things really get interesting. As you just noticed, I made 4,000 the top value for round 3. And that's what I feel the show should be doing. Top value should be going up every round like it used to back in the 90s, but they just aren't doing that. All right, so here's what round 4 has the potential. We're going to bring this up to 950. We're going to bring this up to 1250. I'm going to bring this up to 3,500. We're going to bring the 600 up to 1,000. We're going to bring the 650 up to 4,000. We're going to bring this blue 700 up. 700 up. 700 up. Yeah, whatever. Okay. That's going to be 2,500. This is going to be 1,500. We're going to have all the 4-digit values here on the wheel. We're going to have every 3-digit up from 500. We got 1,000. We got 1,250. We got 1,500. We got 2,000. There we go. 2,500, 3,500, 4,000. This is really the potential of what round 4 could look like. We could use some more 4-digit dollar values. Maybe not this many, but you never know. Besides, it can really help when you give the wheel a final spin. It says, hey, that'd be nice having 2,250 every be the top value of, be the value of consonants, you know, that'd be great. Now she also sent me some wedges that I can make more wedges with, and here's some examples that I have. 2017, I remember, was just a terrific year. So I decided to make one based off of that. 2022, while having its share of ups and downs, was also pretty good. That was the year I went to see Bon Jovi. I went to see a couple game show adaptions. I had a really interesting 2022. And then I'm also going to do The Light of Hope, which is named after the song used in Sonic Forces. That was the end theme of Sonic Forces. Now, I know Sonic Forces has received a lot of hate. Some people even went as far as to say that there's nothing to like about it. I disagree. There are some really nice things that I love about it. And one of my favorite aspects of it, it gives me the opportunity to play as some of my Sonic OCs. And The Light of Hope is my favorite song in the franchise. So I actually decided to turn that into a wedge. So how will it work? It's a really nice wedge. It's going to be introduced late in the game. And if someone lands on it, play immediately shifts over to the player with the third place total, and they get to play the round all by themselves. Gives them a really nice chance to get themselves on the board. Basically, it goes to the third place player, and they will never lose their turn for the rest of the round. But they have to keep spinning until there are no more consonants left. if they spin up a bankrupt, they will lose all of their money, and they will lose their round earnings, any prizes that they may have, but not their turn. But they have to keep spinning. And that'll give them a really nice chance to at least get themselves on the board in a nice way. And it can definitely help them build a nice lead as well, potentially. Part of the reason is I always hate it when I see someone walk out of there without having solved any puzzles. I hate seeing that happen. But this can really help prevent that. Here's some other stuff. Here's some more wedges that I have. There's a steel token. Works very similarly to the power wedge, where you just land on something and you land on it and you get to steal another contestant's round earnings. Now, some of these spaces, some of them were made by me, some of them were made by fellow wheel artists. One of those artists, you can visit here at YouTube. He actually asked me to mention him, and his name is, you can find him at Your Local Tiff Kirby. It's all one word, Your Local Tiff Kirby. He made some of these wedges. He made some of these wheel layouts that he said to me, you're more than welcome to use this. Such as this bonus round wheel layout. Well, he didn't make this, but he made this one. When I commissioned this lady at Etsy for this bonus round layout, I asked if she could use this layout that Your Local Tiff Kirby made. And she was so in love with how this turned out. She said to me, I don't want to give this to you. I want to keep it. and I can't blame her. It turned out very beautifully. So let's give this a spin, maybe $100,000. N for nifty prize. Let's see how nifty of a prize it is. Let's take this out. And we're going to open that, and we are going to find out that we have won $25,000. I'm going to put that back in. Right there. Boom. Whoops. There we go. There we go. Perfect. This, yeah, the envelope's going go in evenly here, so there's no problem. Landed on the A in America, and that's going to be A. That is going to be an A for $100,000. Look at that. But if you bring the $1 million wedge with you to the bonus round, it's not going to be A for 100,000. It's going to be A for $1 million. $1 million. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this is how I know everything is just laying about here and there, but this is how I store everything just to keep the pegs safe. This is for this. But you'll probably notice how I store all the wedges. These are in boxes for the wedges. And I like to group everything here. This is my Sonic Heroes fan team. There's Rusty the Bat on the left, there's Tammy Palace in the center, and there's my Fursona, Billy Hedgehog, on the right. I'll show you what's inside it. Side are all my international stuff. Wheel Around the World, the Goody Wedge. There we go. There's the Goody Wedge used. Wheel Around the World. There's Wheel Around the World. There's the Goody Wedge used on Australia's version. A lot of ways to play the game translated as well. So that's where all my international stuff is. There's Cosmo. I also recently heard Cosmo is one of my favorite Sonic characters, and there has been a movement titled Save Cosmo, hopefully to bring her back. And this would be nice if she was in this outfit, because I actually designed this outfit for her. I commissioned someone to draw her in this way back, and actually changed the text to have Cosmo wish us good luck. Most importantly, have fun. This is where all my 70s and 80s stuff are. And there's Sonia on the left, Amy Rose on the right, and my favorite outfits for them. That's where all my Sonic the Hedgehog and Sega stuff, that's where they're going to be. Some of these are double-sided as well. Some of these character wedges. I also had some wedges for the Sonic Symphony. Very nice. Here's my stuff for showing off. This is for the 90s stuff. This is where all the 90s stuff is. And here's the stuff for the modern layouts. See quite a bit of that's in there. And then this one with my OC Lisa in her Super Seraph form with all 7 Chaos Emeralds, holding my dear live play game. As you're probably expecting, that's where all my live play related stuff is. Right in there. Perfect. Now, all 4 of these illustrations were done by the same artist, but they were done for me. This is the first drawing she did for me. She did this way back, late 08. Just a while later, in early 09, she did this for me. This was the first time she ever drew Cosmo. And then a year later, I asked her to draw Sonia and Amy. They turned out really well. And then just under 2 years ago, she did Lisa in her Super Seraph form, holding my live play game. She did some other stuff as well. Let's see if I can find something else I want to see. Some other characters in there. She did Zoe. There we go, from Sonic Boom. So these are just an incredible way to... this is just a great way to really spice up your game night. Play the game you want it, however you want it. But if I have to give out some cons, it would be that the pegs are prone to breaking off, especially for some of the lighter materials, such as this Press Your Luck layout. I'm going to do that. Put that in there. Okay, 1505. As you can see at the top, the big bucks right here is $5,000. I'm going to do round 2 now. The Big Bucks Bank, it works like the Big Bank on the Whammy Revival back in 2003, the second season, back in 03. You land on that, you get any money that's lost to a whammy. And here's round 3. So besides the big bucks in round 2, you got 10,000 and a spin, 25,000 and a spin for round 3, and there's the Big Bucks Bank again. So it's also a really nice way to play Press Your Luck in the comfort of your own home without having to resort to a video game or electronic board or anything like that. Now, I listed all the pros, but if I had to list some cons, I do have to list some cons as well for the sake of a review. For one, like I said, The pegs are prone to breaking off. But like I said, I have a solution for that. The other con is that they don't go for all that cheap. Most of her products go for $50 and up. Whereas you can get an actual Wheel of Fortune board game at a department store for $20. However, the additional cost really is worth it, just to try and really turn it around. It really is. If you're someone like me who can afford all this stuff, definitely give this a try. And a lot of people, this would make for a really nice birthday gift or a Christmas present. Really great way to improve and spice up your game night. If you want to play Wheel of Fortune with your family, this is a great way to do it. And again, if you're going to play this on a kitchen table, get yourself some plastic feet so it won't, that's what I recommend doing, so it won't scratch your table up. She also made some custom coasters for me for the NES versions, a couple NES versions of Wheel of Fortune. This was the first game, the Family Edition. This was the first video game I've ever played on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. So like I said, even though the products may be just a little bit more expensive, if you're a big Wheel of Fortune fan like I am, who can definitely afford this, it's certainly well worth the cost. It's a great way to play Wheel of Fortune however you want it. And I certainly do see this as, and with the advent of 3D printing, I certainly do see this as the future of playing Wheel of Fortune board games. I certainly believe that these are better than what Pressman has been coming out with, especially lately. Yes, absolutely. So hopefully when Pressman comes out with something really awesome, they come out with another deluxe edition. Hopefully they'll bring back the removable wedges. And hopefully they'll figure out a way to make layouts a little bit more custom as well. So I don't know if they're going to do that. They certainly want their products to sell. But although this is the more expensive option, it's certainly well worth it, especially if you are a die-hard Wheel of Fortune fan like I am. So I hope you enjoy everything you see here. But believe it or not, I'm not done. I got another, this is just the first part of a two-part special. You'll see what part 2 is all about in just a moment.